burden of proof and onus of proof. See, mostly people think that these two terms are the same thing, but actually in legal world it is not the same. Why? Because when we are talking about burden of proof, it refers to the overall obligation to prove the case. You might have seen in various books it is written that the overall burden of the case is upon the prosecution to prove the case, otherwise the prosecution will lose the case. Now when we are talking about onus of proof, onus of proof refers to the responsibility of producing the evidences to meet the burden of proof. See, what happens is that it is the onus of proof which keeps upon shifting either on the prosecution side or upon the defense side. What happens is that there are some, it is not that in a case that entire set of evidences will be produced by the prosecution. No, prosecution will produce the evidences which will prove the guilt of the accused, and the defense will produce the evidences which will prove the innocence of the accused. So the responsibility of producing such evidences which will prove the innocence of the accused is upon the defense. So that is called the onus of proof, means the responsibility of producing those evidences is upon the defense, and the responsibility of producing evidences which will prove the guilt of the accused will be upon the prosecution. So the onus is here, but the overall burden is upon the prosecution. If the prosecution will not be able to satisfy that burden, then that the accused will not be considered as guilty. Firstly, it is the prosecution which will establish such set of circumstances which will prove that the accused is guilty. So the overall burden is upon the prosecution to prove the case, or we can also call it as legal burden, and the onus of proof, which is the responsibility, that is also known as evidential burden.